So now we're going to create a new part. And this part is going to be our crankshaft. So I know the end point is going to be a circle because this is what's going to be the end bearing. And I want to make sure that circle is centered on the origin. I'm going to set this guy to 0.2. It's a fairly meaty piece of material, but it should be strong enough so we don't have to worry about it breaking. And I'm going to extrude this. I'm going to start by extruding it 1 inch. That might be too much. I'm not positive yet. I'm now going to start making the main, the lobes for the connecting rod. So this is going to be a center-to-center slot. I'm going to start here and go straight up. Nope, not center point slot. I want a center-to-center slot. I want to start here and go straight up. And I know it's going to click onto the edge of here. So this is in the same distance. And what we care about here is how far the pistons are going to go up and down. They're about 1 inch tall. So let's go with 1 inch. Actually, let's go 0.5 inches. So the total distance will be 1 inch. And I'm going to make this 0.2. Actually, it makes it 0.2. And now the part, I have to go back and look at my assembly. We're going to go to the inspect, measure, and I could usually just hit the M key. And I'm going to select from the XY plane to the XY plane. It's 1.25 inches. So my center shaft from center to center is going to be 1.25. And the connecting rod, I'm back to measure, is I'm going to click from here to here is 0.16. So we're going to go over here. And I'm going to extrude. I'm going to start a sketch on this shape here. And I'm going to draw a full-size circle here. I'm going to make sure it's connected onto here. Control Z. Let's project that geometry first, and then I can start a circle right on the end point. And center point on center point, and this guy touches the edge. Now, this segment here, total distance from the center to the center is going to be 1.25. And I have a 0.15 smaller section here. So maybe what I'll do is I'll cut the centers out last. So let's just make this the right distance. So this should be 1 inch. So this is 0.15, or that's 0.2, plus 1.25 minus 0.2 star 2. And I'm going to start it. That means that if I do start a sketch from here, I'm going to project geometry. I'm going to start a center slot, and we'll go straight down. And I'm going to click on this outside edge. And we're going to dimension this line here to 1 inch. And then we're going to extrude this 0.2 by 0.2. Now, if we dimension between these guys, if I measure from pressing the M key from here to here, we should get 0.105 up. So when I did this dimension here, I shouldn't have multiplied this by 2. Now, from here to here, exactly 1.25. So the center should be 1.25 apart. I'm going to start a sketch here. I'm going to project geometry. I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to make sure that this circle is on the thing, so it's the same size. Oh. There we go. I'm going to extrude this the same dimension. So this number here should be 0.125, 1.25 minus 0.2. And I'm going to start a sketch on the end of this guy. I'm going to project geometry. And then I'm going to draw a center slot, this time ending at the origin. And I'm going to make sure it clips on. So I'm going to click coincident with there. I'm going to extrude this 0.2 again. And I'm going to start a sketch on the end of this guy. And I'm going to draw another circle. And extrude this 1 inch. So this is our main crankshaft. Now, we also need to cut a groove in here that we're going to hook our connecting rods to, and this is going to actually print in place. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start a sketch on, we're going to create a work plane. Give ourselves a work axis that goes through this spot, in this spot. So 2 work axes. And I'm going to do a sketch on this work plane. I'm going to do a sketch on the XY plane. And I'm going to hit F7. And I'm going to take and draw a rectangle above this line. Now, things I know with this rectangle. I know from this side here is going to be 0.15 plus 0.01. And I know the center of this line. Nope. The center of this line is going to be in the middle of this line. And finally, this gap here, I'm going to mention from this point to this line. And we're going to make this 0.05 plus 0.05. So that's going to be our tolerance, our printing tolerance, plus the size of this diameter. So plus this radius. So I'm going to revolve this shape up, R for revolve, about that line, and I want to cut. And this is going to give me the profile where my connecting rod is going to set off of. And we're going to do the same thing on this guy. So we're going to start a sketch on the XY plane again. I'm going to hit F7. I'm going to draw a rectangle. I know that his center is, we're going to project geometry of this inner area. Center it. This is going to be 0.15 plus 0.01. And then dimension from the axis to here is going to be 0.05 plus 0.005. And we'll revolve about this. Make sure it's in cut. And now we have our crankshaft. Let's save this guy and call him Crankshaft. And let's place him into assembly. So we're going to go to assembly, and let's place this guy into it. Now I can go in here and hide his work axes. Just turn visibility off on those so I don't see them. And now I know that this plane here should be parallel to this plane here. Apply. I'm going to pull this out of alignment. And I know this plane here should line up with this plane here. Edit. And that didn't change anything, but did tell me that we're in the right, that the spacing is correct. So that lines up there, that lines up there. So now we have that in place. Next step is we're going to build our crankshaft, and we're actually going to build that our connecting rods, and that's going to be built right into the connecting rod part. Or I'll build them separately and we'll assemble them together. But this will actually print with the connecting rods as a single piece, and we'll get to that next.